Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Schoaf. Today we're going to learn how to graph linear equations and nonlinear equations. So I need you to have graph paper out, so please take your graph paper out. Okay, and once you get your graph paper out, label your notes 4-1. If you need a few minutes here to find your graph paper, pause the video, find your graph paper, and then hit play. All right, so remember we've talked about linear and nonlinear. What does linear mean? It makes a straight line, right? Can you draw a picture of a linear function on your paper? Scribble a picture of a linear function on your paper. Yeah, it's just a straight line, some kind of straight line. What do you think a nonlinear function would look like? Yeah, it would not be a straight line. So maybe it would be curved, or it wouldn't go in a straight line like this. So that's what nonlinear means. All right, so what we're going to do today to graph linear and nonlinear functions is we're going to make an XY table, okay, and then we're going to graph the points in our XY table. So I need you to draw an XY table. So I need you to make your first column X. Okay, the middle column, you're going to put your equation, y equals 1/3 x minus 2. Your third column's y. Your last column is x comma y. I want you to pause the video now and copy this table. When you get done copying this table, hit play. Okay, now that you're done copying this table, let's go ahead and pick some values for x. So what we're going to do is put some numbers in for x, and we're going to figure out what y is. But notice we have a 1/3 times x. That means we've got to take 1/3 of x or take x and divide by 3. So I think it would be good to use numbers that you could divide by 3 evenly. I also want to use positive and negative numbers. So let's do this together. Put a -6, -3, 0, 3, and 6. Fill those in your x column. All right, now what we're going to do, when x is -6, we're going to take our equation, y equals 1/3, and put -6 in for x. So we're going to do 1/3 of -6. That's like taking -6 and dividing by 3. -6 divided by 3 is a -2 minus 2. -2 minus 2, are they the same or are they different? They're the same. So we add to get -4, right? So here is my ordered pair. X was -6, so -6. Y is -4. So one of the points on my graph is -6, -4. Now I'm going to put -3 in for x. So y equals 1/3 times -3 minus 2. So when I find 1/3 of -3, and I need you to do this in your table, make sure you're writing this down. When I find 1/3 of -3, I'm taking -3 and dividing by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. A negative times a positive is a negative. I'm going to have a -1 minus 2. Are they the same or different? They're the same. Do I add or subtract? I add to get -3. So my next point, my x value was -3, my y value was -3. So put in the point -3, -3. All right, now we're going to put 0 in for x. So I'm going to write my same equation, but right here where the x is, I'm going to put 0. So write in your table y equals 1/3 times 0 minus 2. 1/3 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 2 would be -2. Right, so my next point is 0, -2. Right, now I'm going to put 3 in for x. So in your table, write this, y equals 1/3 times 3 minus 2. 1/3 of 3 is like taking 3 and dividing by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm going to have a 1 take away 2. 1 minus 2 is -1, right, because they're different. So my x value was 3, my y value was -1. Now I'm going to put 6 in for x. So what I'm going to do, and I want you to do this on your paper, write 1/3 times 6 minus 2. 1/3 of 6. You're going to take 6 and divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. I'll have a 2 take away 2. 2 take away 2 is 0. My y value is 0. So my next point is 6, 0. All right, now I want you on your graph paper to draw an x-axis and a y-axis. Go ahead and do this. All right, now we're going to graph our points. So our first point is -6, -4. So I start at the origin, I go left 6 spaces because it's -6, then down 4. Put a point at -6, -4. You go left 6, down 4. Okay, my next point is -3, 3. So you go left 3, down 3. My next point is 0, -2. 0 means don't go left or right. -2 means go down 2. Put a point at 0, -2. All right, put a point at 3, -1. That means go right 3, down 1. And my next point on my graph is 6, 0. So I'm going to go right 6. 0 tells me don't go up or down. There's my next point. Then you're going to connect your points. And this is a linear function because it is a straight line. You're going to put arrows at the end. Also, I knew from the beginning that it's linear because notice my equation, x and y are both to the first power. That's what makes it linear. All right. What I want you to do now is copy the table. And when you copy the table, put your equation here. This one's a little different because x is to the second. Okay, so I want you to pause the video, copy your table, and also draw an x and y axis. And when you have what's on my screen copied, then hit play. Go ahead and pause the video now so you can get that copied. All right, now that you're done, notice that we're going to take 1/3 of x again. Actually, on this one, we're going to take x to the second power and then take 1/3 of it. So I need numbers that I could divide by 3, okay? So I'm going to put, let's just do what we did before. Do a -6, -3, 0, 3, 6. Okay, I want you to do this with me on your paper. First, we're going to let y equal -6. So I'm going to do 1/3 of -6 squared minus 2. Remember, PEMDAS tells us to take x to the second first. We do exponents before we multiply and divide. So I've got to take a -6 to the second power. And you can use your calculator also, but if you take a -6 in parentheses to the second, that means -6 times -6. If you put it in your calculator, you need to put the -6 in parentheses, or you need to do a -6 times -6. So a -6 times -6 is 36, right? But then we have to do 1/3 of 36 minus 2. So 1/3 of 36 would be taking 36 and dividing by 3. 36 divided by 3 is 12. 12 minus 2. 12 minus 2 is 10. So my point, let me see, my x value was -6, my y value is 10. There's 1 point on the graph. Please make sure you're completing this on your paper. All right, now we're going to put -3 in for x. So we're going to have 1/3 times -3 to the second minus 2. -3 to the second means -3 times -3. So if I take a -3 times -3, I get a +9, yes. So then what I'm doing is taking 1/3 of 9 and subtracting 2. 1/3 of 9 is like taking 9 and dividing by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 take away 2 is 1. Yes. So my next point is -3, 1. All right, let's go to 0. Let's do y equals 1/3 times 0 squared minus 2. Please write this in your table. Okay, 0 squared would be 0 times 0, which is 0. 1/3 of 0 is 0. So I would just have a 0 minus 2. What's a 0 minus 2? -2. Good. So the next point, my x value is 0. My y value is -2. All right, do this with me. We're on to putting 3 in for x. So in your table, write this. Y equals 1/3 times 3 squared minus 2. Remember, you want to do your exponents first, so you want to do 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. We're doing 1/3 of 9 minus 2. 1/3 of 9 is taking 9 and dividing by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Take away 2. 3 take away 2 is 1. So this point would be 3, 1. My x value is 3, my y value is 1. All right, when I go to my last one, and please make sure you're writing this in your notes, you're going to take 6 and plug it in for x. So see how I have 6 squared there? Write this in your table. You're going to have 6 to the second. 6 to the second is 6 times 6, which is 36. So here's what we have. 1/3 of 36 minus 2. 1/3 of 36 is 36 divided by 3, which is 12. 12 take away 2 is 10. So my y value would be 10. So this is the point 6, 10. Okay, now you should already have your x and y axis drawn. Let's graph these points together. If you do not have your x and y axis drawn, pause the video and draw it so you can graph these points. When you get done drawing your x and y axis, hit play. All right, so our first point is -6, 10. So you're going to go left 6, up 10. On your graph, put a point at -6, 10. Our next point is -3, 1. Go left 3, up 1. Our next point is 0, -2. That means don't go left or right, but go down 2. Our next point is 3, 1. Remember, you go right 3, up 1. Our last point is 6, 10. You go right 6, up 10. Okay, if the video goes too fast, make sure you pause it until you're caught up and then hit play. Right, you're going to connect your points to make your graph and put arrows at the end. Is this linear or nonlinear? It's nonlinear. This is actually called a parabola. Okay, and we'll do a lot with parabolas when you get to algebra. And I knew it was nonlinear because notice x is to the second power. So whenever you have x or y to a different power than 1, it's going to be nonlinear. All right, let's look at our next one. So what I want you to do is copy the table and draw your x and y axis. Pause now. Hit play when you have the table copied and your x and y axis drawn. Okay, now that you're done drawing that, in the second box here. You always put your equation. So if you haven't written your equation, write your equation there. All right, what we're doing on this one is we're taking x to the second, then multiplying by 2, and then subtracting 1. So I'm not really dividing by a number, so I don't have to worry about my numbers that I pick for x being able to divide by a certain number evenly. So let's just do this. Put a -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 in for x. And we'll go through this together. All right, so first we're going to let x be -2. So we're putting a -2 in parentheses to the second. All right, so copy this in your table. We're going to square -2. -2 times -2 is +4. Good. So we have a 2 times 4 minus 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Take away 1 is 7. So the first point on my graph, my x is -2, my y is 7. Okay, next we're going to put in -1 for x. So see how I have 2 and then -1 in parentheses to the second minus 1. Write this in your table. So -1 squared would be a -1 times -1. And -1 times -1 is 1. Good. So guys, we would have a 2 times 1 minus 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 take away 1 is 1. So this would be the point -1, 1. Because my x is -1, my y is 1. All right, let's look at our next one. Now we're going to put in 0 for x. So write this in your table. You're going to do 2 times 0 to the second minus 1. 0 to the second would be 0 times 0, which is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. So I'm going to have a 0 minus 1. What does 0 minus 1 make? -1, right. So my x was 0, my y is -1. So another point on the graph is 0, -1. Now we're going to put 1 in for x. So I'm going to have 2 times 1 to the second minus 1. Write this in your table. 1 to the second. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. That's going to be a 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So my y value is 1, my x value is 1. My point is 1, 1. Okay, let's do the last one together. Now we're going to put 2 in for x. So we're going to have 2 times 2 squared minus 1. 2 squared is 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm going to have a 2 times 4 minus 1. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 take away 1 is 7. All right, so another point on my graph is 2, 7. All right, you should already have your graph drawn, your x and y axis. If not, pause, and when you get done, hit play. All right, let's graph these points. -2, 7 means go left 2, up 7. Go left 2, up 7. -1, 1 is left 1, up 1. If I'm going too fast, pause the video and then hit play when you get caught up. 0 means don't go left or right and then go down 1. When I graph 1, 1, I go right 1, up 1. And 2, 7 is right 2, up 7. Okay. Notice it sort of looks like what we had before. We have a parabola again. Okay, I knew it was going to be nonlinear because we had x to the second power. So I knew it would not graph a straight line. All right, let's look at our next one. We're going to do y equals x to the third. So I want you to pause the video now, copy your graph and your table. Copy your table, draw your x and y axis on your graph paper. When you get done, hit play. Okay, now that you're done, let's pick some values for x. It's always good to pick some positive and negative numbers. So let's just do a -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Sometimes if we pick too large of numbers, our points aren't on our graph, they go way off. So let's pick low numbers. All right, this time what we're gonna do is take x to the third. So do this with me. Y equals, I'm gonna put -2 in for x and take -2 to the third. That means -2 times -2 times -2. Well, and -2 times -2 is 4. 4 times -2 is -8, right? So my x value is -2, my y value is -8. My first point is -2, -8. Now I'm going to put -1 in for x. So I'm going to do -1 to the third. -1 to the third means -1 times -1 times -1. -1 times -1 is 1. 1 times -1 is -1. So my next point is -1, -1. If I'm going too fast, pause the video so you can get caught up and then hit play. All right, now we're going to put 0 in. Y equals 0 to the third. 0 times 0 times 0 is 0. Good. So this would be the point 0, 0. Then we're going to put 1 in for x. 1 to the third. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Good. So when I put 1 in for x, I get 1 in for y. Then we're going to put 2 in for x. So 2 to the third. 2 times 2 times 2. Let me see. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. This would be the point 28. All right. Now make sure you have your x and y axis drawn. If not, pause the video and draw it before we graph. All right. So -2 means go left 2, -8. Down 8. On your graph, go left 2, down 8. -1, 1 means left 1, down 1. 0, 0 is the origin. Put a point at the origin. 1, 1 would be right 1, up 1. 2, 8 would be right 2, up 8. Okay, now you're going to connect. Okay, and it's going to look like a curve like that. Anytime you have x to the third, it's going to be curved like that. Okay, I knew it was nonlinear because x was not to the first power. X is to the third power. Make sure you put arrows on the end because it goes on in both directions. All right, now we're going to do y equals 2. So I want you to pause the video. Draw your table and your graph. When you get done, hit play. All right, now that you're done, in the second column, put y equals 2. Okay, what y equals 2 means is your y value is always 2. So in that column that says y, put all 2's there. X can be any number. So go ahead and let's just do a -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, now let's fill in our points. So our first point is -2, 2. Our next point is -1, 2. Our next point is 0, 2. Our next point is 1, 2. Our next point is 2, 2. There are our points. Okay, now let's go to your graph. If you don't have it drawn, pause before we graph. Draw your x-axis and y-axis, hit play when you get done. Okay, so -2, 2, left 2, up 2. -1, 2, left 1, up 2. 0, 2 tells me don't go left or right, go up 2. 1, 2 is right 1, up 2. 2, 2 is right 2, up 2. Okay, it does make a straight line because y is to the first power. It's not a y to the second or y to the third. So it's a line where all your y values are 2. Okay, we have one more to do today. So I need you to pause the video and draw your table and your graph. When you get done, hit play. All right, now that you're done, put your equation here, x equals -3. Notice it's telling me that x is always -3. So find your x column, and under your x column, put -3s. X is always -3. That means y can be any number. I mean, you can make up numbers. You can put whatever you want here. If you wanted to put -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, you could. I'm just going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, in the last column, let's put our points. Okay, so our first point is -3, 1. Our next point is -3, 2. Our next point is -3, 3. Oh, I did that right. And then our next point, our x is -3, our y is 4. So -3, 4. And our last point, our x is -3, our y is 5. Okay, if I'm going too fast, pause. If you don't have your graph drawn, pause. When you get done, hit play. All right, let's graph these points. So -3, 1, left 3 up 1. -3, 2, left 3 up 2. -3, 3, left 3 up 3. -3, 4, left 3 up 4. -3, 5, left 3 up 5. Connect your points. And notice you do have a linear function. It is a straight line, and that's because x is really to the first power there. Okay? That's where all the x values are -3. All right, how are you feeling on today's lesson? Thumbs up or thumbs down? All right, now I need you to complete your exit slip. And if you have extra time left in the class period, I want you to make sure you have your November Evaluate finished. If not, that's your first job. Check Big Ideas, see if you have anything overdue. Also, check Skyward, see if there's anything you need to make up. Have a good day.